Centuries ago, the surface of the Earth was no longer suitable for human habitation. Environmental disasters, climate changes, massive natural catastrophes, wars, and dwindling resources pushed humanity to seek alternative solutions for survival. Technology was rapidly advancing, but the destruction of nature led people to a state of helplessness. Eventually, the construction of massive floating capsules began. These capsules became enormous, city-like structures drifting through the sky. People were now disconnected from the Earth. The surface had been abandoned and left to decay. They realized that everything, from the changing weather to enormous storms and radical catastrophes, was extremely fragile. Their new living spaces became these floating capsules. These capsules were constantly moving, massive cities suspended in the air. Though these capsules drifted independently of one another, they housed a tightly controlled social order within. Each capsule had its own self-sustaining system, and life inside was entirely controlled by a closed-loop order. Technology was the only means connecting the capsules to one another. No one knew anything about the outside world. No one tried to venture outside or question their chances of surviving in the outside world. Traveling between capsules was strictly prohibited. This rule was meticulously enforced by the entire capsule society. Every capsule was governed by its own ruling class. The state controlled every aspect of people's lives. Everything, even their thoughts, was monitored and regulated. Information flow between societies was completely forbidden, and people could only exist within the boundaries of their respective capsules. No one dared to question the system, for the consequences would be severe. Over time, a group of people began to realize the truth of their enclosed world. They noticed that everything was being manipulated. Life within their capsules seemed perfect, yet they knew nothing of the world outside. The general belief was that the world outside was dead and abandoned. Many accepted this, but a few had the courage to question it. One man, Elias, a young engineer, was different. He believed something was wrong, that there was more to life than being trapped within the capsules. Secretly, Elias began working on old machines. He discovered communication devices, antique maps, and outdated software, tools that could help him understand the outside world. Elias decided to devise a plan with a small group of people to escape the system and find out what was really happening beyond their capsules. Elias and his friends made a daring decision. They would do something bold enough to threaten the system. They wanted to know if living outside the capsules was a deadly risk. Elias's plan was to use old communication devices to reach other capsules and learn what was happening outside. However, when the system became aware of their actions, it could send the entire capsule world into chaos. As Elias shared his plan with his closest friends, his greatest fear was that the system's hidden forces were tracking their every move. One of them saw the plan as a fatal mistake and reported it to the authorities. Elias and his friends' attempt failed. The system intervened with enormous security measures. People could no longer dare to question anything. Elias and his friends paid a heavy price for their failure. The capsule government decided to reset their minds. Their cognitive functions were controlled, and their personal memories erased. The system replaced them with new, obedient workers. The rest of society returned to its old ways. However, a few years later, a group of people began to uncover fragments of Elias's memories. Could the world outside still be livable? People still harbored the desire to question their reality. But this time, they knew they had to be much more careful if they wanted to take one step further. Thus, the people inside the capsules, while believing they were safe, continued to grow more curious about the outside world. Their desire to discover what lay beyond increased. as did their hope that one day things could change. Life went on in their suspended cities. Not knowing what was happening outside left them with questions about their freedom. Yet one thing remained certain. Living inside the capsules had caused a society to lose its freedom, slowly erasing its past and dreams.